going up, at least according to some calculations. Is it safe to say inflation really is cooking as well?
By the way, before you kill the turkey, according to my Nicaraguan wife, you have to feed it rum so that they're drunk and don't feel the pain as much. We'll get into all the details when we go into commercial break. Now, we throw that question out to our panel, the inflation question. Joining us this time with all the regulars is Mike Norman from Economic Contrarian Update. And by the way, Adam Lashinsky, we are terribly sorry. Adam, you're a senior writer at Fortune magazine. We were giving credit to a competitor. So because of that,
apology accepted.
Thank you, Adam. Let's start with you. Inflation. What do you think?
I don't think it's a major concern. It's always something that needs to be looked at. The biggest cause of inflation right now, the biggest worry, are all the things that China and India are buying, oil, commodities like steel, and grains as well. The biggest reason gasoline prices are going up is because so much corn is being used for ethanol, not really because of core inflation in the American economy.
Mike Norman's still trying to figure out how to get the turkey to drink the rum, but
that's what I'll tell you in the commercial break. You don't want to hear it.
Turkey drinking the rum. I'm going to be drinking the rum. Okay, I'm going to be drinking the rum.
What do you think about inflation?
Listen, I agree with Adam. I don't think it is a terrible concern. Obviously, we don't like to go to the supermarket and have to pay higher prices. Here is the, when we make these comparisons in nominal prices, you and I had this discussion before. You can go back and say, hey, look, I paid $3,500 for a brand new car in 1965. Now it's $20,000. Therefore, that's inflation. It is not. The fact of the matter is we work less to afford more nowadays. That is a better way to look at pricing as opposed to flat prices. Of course, they're always going to rise. Economies grow. Prices go up. However, if it requires less labor on our part to consume the same amount of goods and services, that doesn't mean there is inflation. And that's what we're seeing happen. Wages are rising now faster than the rate of inflation.
Well, Jim Pettakakis, Mike brings up an excellent point. That is the increase in productivity. Actually, the Federal Reserve Board looks at productivity as one of the factors to decide whether it's going to raise or lower rates. When there's more productivity, that means inflation is a little lower, right?
That's right. Listen, over the past 25 years, we've had an incredible disinflation where inflation has dropped from those, terrible rates of the Carter years to a very low level now. And over the last 15 years, productivity has really boomed. The most recent productivity numbers were very good. So I agree with the panel that, I don't think inflation is a huge problem. Now, we always focus on those consumer price numbers, but we always focus less on the income numbers. Some products may be more expensive now than a year ago, but we're also richer than we were a year ago. So it's more than offset that.
I know that Peter Schiff is going to disagree with that, but
and
why,
gold is irrelevant,
Peter?
By the way.
Explain why you're right and Jim might not be.
Well, I don't even know where to start. First of all, to Mike's comments, now it takes two paychecks to afford what one paycheck could buy in 1970.
No,
so we're not getting richer.
Talking about in hours.
Mike, I didn't interrupt when you spoke. All right, I waited patiently. All right. Now, number two, inflation is a big problem. We're creating a lot of inflation. The way it works is the Fed prints money, Americans take that money and spend it on imported products, and now the Asian central banks end up buying that.
Oh, my
and
God.
the Saudi central banks end up buying those dollars. They create even more money.
Let him finish. Go ahead,
It's all this money creation that is causing prices to rise. It's why oil prices are rising. It's why food prices are rising. And it's why they're going to keep rising. And, Mike, if you understood anything about inflation, you would be making money instead of losing it. You would be long oil. You would be long gold. You would have made all these horrendous calls over the years.
Now it's you hurling the personal attacks. First of all, let's go with this idea that it takes two paychecks. I'm calculating the amount of hours it takes to consume a certain good, let's say a car or some standard basket of household items. If it's 33 hours and it used to be 40 hours, then that means, okay, maybe there's two paychecks, but it's, 16 and a half hours each. The fact of the matter is less working hours to consume the same basket of household goods.
That is just not true. Our standard of living is falling. Americans are going...
Every time you say the same thing, whenever the facts are given to you, you say the numbers are wrong.
Why don't you go to YouTube? Guys, hold on a second. We'll give you a chance to argue this during the commercial break, but you're on. I want to hear what you think.
I actually agree with Peter. I definitely think there is inflation. I think the government printing money not only is causing prices to go up, and prices will continue to go up with this weak dollar as we import more goods. But the printing of money by the government is what causes all these bubbles and crashes. So inflation is not only reflected in prices, it's reflected in all this misallocation of capital.